Talisker Storm. Talisker Storm!
Talisker Storm!
Talisker Storm. Doesn't it make you horny, baby? Yeah. Talisker Storm. All right, hello everybody. Doug here with the LincolnList.com, and welcome back to another episode of Happy Hour. This would be episode number 14. We're back after a week hiatus from the holidays, so I hope your holiday was very good for you. And we're already a week here into 2017, so I hope whatever resolutions that you had set for yourself, you're well on your way to conquering them. So we still have 51 weeks left. We're going to see what kind of trouble we can get ourselves into happy hours throughout the year. So this is the first happy hour of 2017, and I wanted to ring it in nicely. And I did promise the last time that we spoke that I would start escalating the quality of the whiskey we were going to test. There for a while we were hitting the Speyburns, the Glenlivets. I can't even pronounce some of those other scotches. We were really digging in the dirt. But lo and behold, I have some Talisker Storm from the sweet, legendary distillery, Talisker. Now this place makes some of the best whiskey in the world. I'm going to put up a map so you can kind of get an idea. If you remember from some of these happy hours, how much I love the Isle of Islay, those really smoky, peaty types of scotches. And we've also tested some highlands and lowlands. And if you remember, the taste of whiskey is kind of indigenous to the area in which it's distilled. They're all kind of known for their own unique flavors. Now, being on the Isle of Skye, it is the only distillery. It's a sweet distillery, a really nice one. I was there as well last summer. And it's a great place. It's the only one there. It's really quaint looking. And all those kind of distilleries they have there in Scotland are really sweet looking on the water. It's an epic place to visit if you ever get the chance. But anyway, being up there all by themselves, they kind of live by their own rules. They're like little honey badger Scotch people, and they can just make whatever they want. The one that I've tasted before that I really love is the standard Talisker 10, and this is what you're going to see most often. And it's really heavily peated, but a really rich taste with it. It's one of my favorite whiskeys. So they make a really nice smoky. This is one here, according to their website, that isn't quite as smoky. It's a little bit more rich flavored, or so it claims. I guess we'll talk about that in just a minute. So we're going to find out what this thing tastes like. The cool part, I guess, about this is if you search around most of the places, it's going to be about a $90 to $95 bottle of scotch. So it's pretty pricey. Fortunately, when I was moseying through some holiday shopping, I happened to be at Costco, the little whorehouse that Costco is. And you know, they have whiskey there. They have Lagavulin, and sometimes they'll sell for $55, but they had this on special for $40. I mean, $40, that's over half off. I bought like 5 of them. I'm like, no way, Talisker. So that's a pretty good deal. If you got a Costco in your area, get down there and get you some of this here for $40. That's a good deal. So let's have a little bit of Talisker Storm. I'm being generous, huh? You can see how much I really want some of this. Nice labeling too. Talisker Storm. So it's kind of caramelized, kind of dark compared to some of the other scotches that we've drank. But what is really cool about it, I know you can't see it, but this thing has some serious film, which is some serious legs coming down off it. So it's going to have a pretty strong alcohol content. But as we discussed with some of the other scotches and whiskeys in general, the important thing is it's all one smooth unit. So when you're drinking the scotch, or at least what I like, is you want to feel like you're tasting the flavors plus the alcohol. You don't want to be unbalanced. You don't want to taste like too much alcohol or too much flavoring and alcohol tastes too watery. So that's what's the power of distilling. So, and it smells so good too. It's like oh gosh, it's what a good smell. So according to their website, it says, it's 45.8, so that's pretty strong. It says, Talisker Storm offers the drinker Talisker's full maritime majesty, all unfettered element, power, and confidence. power and confidence, unfettered power and confidence. So I'm going to drink some and see if it's unfettered and powerful. And will I be confident? We're going to find out. Oh, I love the smell of this stuff. Wow. God. I wish you guys could smell this. Seriously, you got to get down and you got to get some of this. That's just good stuff. Man, when it comes to scotches, that just goes down. Goes down like milk, man. Oh, that's good. That is really, really good whiskey. Anyway, so let's learn more about that. An intense, vibrant whiskey, well-balanced wave of smoke and sweetness. Now, I can taste the sweetness. It's nowhere near as smoky as Lagavulin or Laphroaig or Ardbeg. Definitely nowhere near Ardbeg or even the Peat Monster that we tested. And like I said, I've had the 10, so the 10 kind of tastes like this, but it's really heavily peated, which I'm naturally going to love. So if you're not into peat and you don't like the smoke and you want to kind of dial it down, so this is kind of like the same whiskey, it's just dialed down from the smoky, a couple of notches. So it's really good. It's really good. It also says it's peppery, sweet, and salty flavors neat. Draw them out with a little water. We've already talked about drawing them out with some water. Recommends that you have this with shrimp. I don't know if I could drink whiskey with food. I mean, when you just drink whiskey, you're just sitting around enjoying a drink of whiskey. But anyway, is it bold? Is it confident? Does it make me confident? Well, you know what? Yeah, it does. It's bold. It's unfettered. Element of power and confidence. Yes, I'm unfettered with power and confidence. Now, according to the website, I have to put my glasses on. This distillery was founded in 1830 by Hugh and Kenneth Maxill. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Hopefully that's good. And let's see. They required this lease, then the distillery was rebuilt in 1880 and extended in the 1900s. Then it was burnt down. You know, that's like, it's burnt down. This is like the eighth, when I talked about Port Charlotte, their distillery had burnt down. I think the Brood Lottich distillery had burnt down. Something about whiskey in Scotland. These buildings just burned down. It must be like a high risk. I doubt they can get any insurance. And then let's see, they bought it. Yeah, it says they bought it. The McLeods end up buying it in 1902 for $23.12. 23 pounds. I don't know if I'm reading that right. 23 pounds in the 1900s. That's a cheap deal. That's a good investment if you bought this thing for 23 pounds and you still have it today. So anyway, let's talk about the old Talisker here. This is great whiskey. Now, this is a serious, high quality, well distilled whiskey. Like I said, I've had Talisker 10. This is Talisker Storm. This is a little less smoky, but you know, it's good enough. It's good enough for me, I tell you that. That's for sure. It's a really great whiskey. So if you don't like the smoke, as I said, you want to dial it back a notch, you don't like those heavily peated flavors, this is perfect whiskey. It's rich. It's just good. They also have Talisker Sky, a Talisker Dark Storm. I'm going to try to put these pictures up. I don't know what the difference between a regular Talisker and a Talisker Dark Storm. And then a Talisker 18, 25, and 30. And I believe I'm pronouncing this right, Talisker Nest Point. So they got quite a few whiskeys now. But what you'll find mostly, as I said, is the Talisker 10. I'm going to have another drink of this. This stuff is good. Oh, wow. It's really good whiskey. So anyway, Talisker, A+ whiskey. Rich, full-bodied, unfettered boldness it has. So here we are in the first week of 2017, and I got to be honest, the market's pissing me off. If you go back and you watch some of the past happy hours, I, like so many people, was thinking, starting from early December, we're going to hit 20K any day now. We're going to hit 20K any day now. And this, again, the market's unpredictability. I thought we were going to see this before Christmas, and my hopes were that we would, not my hopes, but my thoughts were what would be nice is if we just rallied real strong throughout the year like we did last year and then started selling off. Of course, we sold off a little bit earlier last year, but we'd start the year with some profit taking and some selling off. Well, that didn't happen. We're just sort of dragging out this rally. And now that I'm doing this video, we're here on a Friday, which is the first full week, and the market's still flirting with it. We came in with a couple of points today and then it gets rejected. It's like the longest drawn out emotional target in the history of stock market trading, which means we're going to have to carry this garbage all the way until next week. So I don't know. It's so annoying, but that's the way it is sometimes. That's one of the things that we have to deal with as traders, where it's okay to have a bias, but there's nothing you really can do about it. Some days when you're trading, and sometimes there's periods that you will do very well. We talked about this before. Your strategies will work real well. The market will be in sync with you. You'll become one with it, and things are great. And then there's times where it's just, peaks and valleys. You're in a valley, and it's just kind of drawn out, and, trades are stubborn. You're not making as much as you used to, or you're losing money. So you kind of go through these up and down waves. The important thing that we've always talked about real quickly is that, when you're strong and things are working good, that's when you get aggressive. And then there's these modes like now that, for me at least, a survival mode where you're just doing what you need to do to get by until, things open up. Now, for some other people with other strategies, they're going to see better times now. And then, of course, when mine's good, theirs won't be, and so on. But that's the way the market is. Anyway, enough of me rambling. Let's talk about some stocks. We got some stock ideas I want to talk about, some things I want to talk about here. Okay, well, let's go ahead and take a look at the market. It is the all-time high that never came. We got there really close on Friday, and it's like just a couple of points. I'm showing you the SPY chart here. Just a couple of points, and then, well, it just drifts. And now I'm doing this after hours here on Friday. You can see it's drifting even more. Now, that doesn't mean anything. It's not like it can't come back up, but as I was mentioning, just one of the longest drawn out emotional milestones I've seen in a long time. But it is what it is. You're not in control of that, so we kind of have to deal with it. And as I've been saying, if you're looking for a pullback, or you're looking for a correction, or you're looking for anything like that, and that's your end game, I don't think you're going to see that. And I don't even think you're going to see that until after the inauguration. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's a little selling with that, but as far as I can see, we might have to deal with that up until that point. Now, there were some seriously huge moves on some of these stocks that didn't give up nothing here coming into going at Friday. And one of these happened to be this GBX. It's the beauty of stock market trading, and why I've said in a lot of these videos in the past about trying to make sense out of the market, because you can't. There's always weird crap. So here's this GBX. They miss earnings, and things look gloomy for them, but it doesn't make any difference. And they have a conference call and said they sold a few hundred more rail cars here. And this thing just lights it up. I mean, it really goes from 42 bucks straight to 46 and doesn't give any of that back. So, here's a company that lost money for the quarter, and, you're seeing a 16.5% move on it. So this is definitely a short idea. If you follow me on the Twitters, I have some of it here, and it just isn't cooperating. It was a tough day to be a short seller, but I'm still interested in adding to the position and interested in this thing overall. Same thing could be said with PCRX. It's been another one of those stocks that's just kind of done an about face in the market. You look here on Thursday, and you were down at the 3320s, and when you look at this chart, like if this was a daily chart here, it looked like this thing was just, you're in a longer-term downtrend. There we go. Longer-term downtrend. Let me get a trend line here. Hold on. All right. So you're in this longer-term downtrend. And I think finally kind of breaks down a little bit, testing the moving averages. And then it just turns, literally turns around at 33 bucks, hits that a few times on Thursday. And from 33, it goes straight into 40 virtually nonstop. It just gaps up and goes and stays strong for the entire portion of the day. So this PCRX, also interested in shorting that one too. Now this PAN-W kind of has my interest because Citron is now on this as a bullish call. They're very rarely bullish on anything. They're known for hit pieces, but this is an awful big launch off of the bottom for this stock anyway. 127 to 135. You know, it's hard to say which direction it can go here, but I would think, you know, what I'm looking for here, of course, is vertical moves, some parabolics, some stuff that gets stretched early. And if this thing can come up and test the 50 moving average here on the daily chart, which is 100, about 139, it doesn't have to hit that to a penny, but if you get some sort of spike or some sort of vertical action in the morning, first thing on Monday, and the Salem market gaps up and carries a lot of these stocks upward, then that's something I would look for, you know, as a short. Also, another one that I've talked about quite a few times here is blue. It hasn't quite set up the way that I want. Now, this is a big move for blue itself. You know, blue is one of those stocks that's been around. At least I've traded it quite a few times. And, you know, it kind of just popped here off the bottom. And in the last couple of days, it's got like about a $7 move in the last couple of days. That's pretty good. Biotechs in general, like if you look at Leibu, that's what I use, not XBI or IBB. But if you look at that, it kind of follows it step for step. You know, bios were sold off heavily last week. You saw some big stuff with ions and a couple others. But they kind of go back and forth. So this was the week they were bouncing, they were strong. So a lot of these things crossed over significant moving averages. They bounced over, you know, like when you're looking at Leibu, the overall, you know, look of biotechs in general. They were on a downtrend here that started in October, late October, and the first part of November. You know, some of them got an election bounce. But after that, you know, you saw a lot of selling off on these names, and they've gone that way straight until the end of the year. Now you're seeing some bounces to begin the year. If we get, you know, it's like a whole basket of these stocks, but if they start going strong early Monday, I would look to try to short some of these names. And I like blue. I like Kite. You had a little bit of a ramp here on Kite. So Kite over the last actually this year, 45 to 51 already. And ions, which is probably my favorite because ions has been having a really hard time holding any of their spikes that they've had. So it kind of gapped up Friday on news and sold off. So in the last few days, this thing has gone from 58, last few trading days, 58 all the way down to 47. And then it's having a really tough time trying to hold its spike. So that's something that we might want to look at as shorting some of these biotechs, only if you start to see some good gappage. And I do love this GBX as well. And that's going to do it for Happy Hour, the inaugural Happy Hour of 2017. It's going to be a good year. It's going to be a long year. It's going to be a great year, though, you know? And we're going to do this together. We've had some good old Talisker Storm here. This is great stuff. If you guys get a chance to get this, go get you some. You got a Costco in your area? Get you some. I want to get some more. Ha! I'm turning it like there's a cap on there. Woo, baby. Woo, baby. Anyway, I want to take another swig of this before we sign off for the day. Anyway, love the Talisker. If you guys ever need any help with your trading, visit thelincolnlist.com, take a free trial to our live trade room. I hope you are well on your way to success in 2017. And here is some Talisker cheers to you. Have a good year. I'll see you next week.